Hanal Patel, and today I'm here to present assignment 2. So the first part is decision tree, and first thing I did is I import all the important stuff in the beginning so I don't have to worry about later on. So I just imported NumPy, pandas, and some of the skitlan. So basically in that one, train test split, decision tree classifier, and accuracy score. Yeah, so let's start at part 1. This is also for part 1 mostly, but yeah, in part 2 we also use NumPy and pandas. So the first thing I did is I basically read the CSV file and then just get the info for first fightings. So as you can see, I opened the same one, country wise latest, and it's in Kaggle if you want to search it up. So here are the first file, they look perfectly fine. So yeah, it's been loaded. Then I created the target column. I created the COVID positive, in which if the new cases are greater than 1, then they will be assigned 1 over here. And it's less than 0, then they will be assigned 0. So I just did the same thing as the first one. I just use head, so I'll get the first file. And yeah, afterwards, basically I have to create X and Y. X is for input, Y is for output, and I use confirm that recovered to get the COVID positive, and over here then afterwards I use train test and split. Basically it's for 30% test and 70% for training. So basically I also created the decision tree over there, and it will, this one is for training. It will basically train about x1 and y1. X1 is like that. Training is I think like 70% as I mentioned over here. All of those things, mostly the first 2 questions, maybe third one, yeah, third one included. I learned that one before the midterm examination, like I think week 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7 mostly. And this one is after like 7, in week 7, 9, 10, mostly decision tree. I learned it recently. So this one is prediction. So basically it predicts the X testing. So when I ran it, the 1 is for positive one and 0 is for non-positive. So mostly they are for negative ones. So it try to predict according to country, and 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 0. And the accuracy score is pretty average, but I think that's okay. Afterwards, let's go to part D. In part 1, basically it's I made a simple choice, nothing much so great. So basically I use some common like head, and I just selected a target column and just testing and training, and then just prediction and accuracy, and that's it, nothing much. Part 2 is like working with pandas mostly. So I imported panda first. So in case if the first if the first code suddenly shut down, I just imported one for the backup. Mostly it doesn't, but sometimes I don't know. So basically just for my confirmation. So basically using pandas, I read underscore CSV for reading a CSV file which was given to me by the professor of the course, and basically I use head for confirming all the stuff. So as you can see, yeah, they look alike, the first file, they look same. So afterwards I use drop. The question is delete the model and how can you confirm it? So I use drop and in place true. So basically I ran it. Oh, the problem is, yeah, this. So that's why I used the panda over there. Pandas basically. Okay. So what you can see model is over here. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1. But if you go over here in 6, 1, there is cost instead of model. So basically it has been replaced. So yeah, for confirmation, yeah. After that, it says I have to replace two square brackets and one dollar sign. So basically, I find one interesting function make trans. Basically, what it does is it is used like regex, but over here you have to do alt alphabetical. Over here you have to do all numerical, and over here all the special. And so I put them, create a variable which will remove all the stuff. I basically have to use string translate and just pass the parameter, and that's it. Like when I run it again, see, I already run, yeah, so it will show 0. The convert the cost to the integer. Okay, so basically I converted the cost in integer, and the best way is to using pandas, but we have to use pandas for that. It was mentioned in the assignment, so I use integer. Afterwards I have to calculate average and the average continent per cost. Okay, so basically let's go to the average. The average mean for the cost is of the all countries, it's like 4.62. Okay, then after cost per continent, and mostly some continent has a greater cost and some has lower cost, but okay. So I use group by. Group by is one of the best function I use so far. Basically in group by you have to place the per, like it's like cost divided by continent, right? So continent is used before and then cost, and then we have to just do mean. So it will find the average among the continent, like so. This is the function. That's good. And let's go to the next one. Over here it's basically bar, so I use basically plot kind bar, group by continent. Only they ask for numerical column, so I use that. I run it and I get output. Afterwards they are asking how many are there. So I basically use value counts. It's a very simple function, mostly used in most of the cases. After that I use display unique values. In that I try to do unique, and then it shows values. Then I use length, how many are there to count. Afterward I used there's like use value count for the cost column and describe the output in comment. So count, basically the cost is this much and count is this much. It shows how much cost does it take and all that stuff. Over here this is the histogram. They basically ask, so I just plot it and use beans, and they ask for the cost specifically. Over here I have to basically summarize all the which has null values. Basically I have to show them. So it's null sum, it's null sum. So zip code, it's how many, 9 2, yeah. And afterwards I just use to summarize them, all of them, and yeah, like that. Then statistic. Basically, I have to show the statistic of all the non integers, and it shows the count is was 948 and all that stuff. Basically, I use time because they asked for it and they said include. And afterwards, drop the any missing values. So I basically use df to drop them, use length, and it's 950 approximately. Drop now is one of the easiest function to use. It's like one word, so basically I use it. Afterwards, it's describe, so I use describe. This one is ilog, basically it's between 0 to 2, so it will describe, and it's 940 between the first and the last as a result. So I basically found a value between the 0 and 2. So basically if you see all of them, the value will be 950. Afterwards, I used data frame, then use value counts, then sort. I set false to ascending because I don't want it. So I use sort index. Basically, all the continent has already been arranged in alphabetical order. So I use that one and it will show all the continents in alphabetical order. Some of them, no, most of them, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.